Talkopolis, the social media TV network for your city. Untimely is sponsored by Trudy and Whit Clark of Frederick and Clark Realty in Nashville, Tennessee. Trudy and Whit are native Nashvillians who specialize in helping people relocate to the area in addition to listing and selling locally.
Hello, I'm TJ Cates. I'm here with Vicky Jacobs for another episode of Untimely. And Vicky, thank you very much for coming back to see us.
Thank you so much for having me, TJ.
Now today we're going to start off the show with some more video from your documentary footage. Can you set us up for the video we're going to watch?
Certainly. Today we have a few clips of parents who have lost their children, each to a different type of death. And I just would like the other parents viewing this to understand that there is a different grieving process pertaining to how your child dies, and it's evident in this footage.
Okay, well let's go and take a quick look at the footage. It lasts about 2.5 minutes, and it's something you worked really hard on last year, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
They had a party. Evidently somebody showed up that had some heroin. I don't know why Brett tried it. I guess maybe peer pressure. They all done it. They tried it. Brett overdosed. They freaked out. They found him and they moved him.
And it was during an ice storm, and rather than them drive home, he chose to take them home. And he was killed 4 blocks from our home on the street. He'd travel over and over and over. And I just had this feeling. So I go on to the funeral home, make coffee, and I sit there. I just felt uneasy. And about that time, the police chaplain called.
It's Megan. It's Megan, and I want to be with her. And she's in heaven, and I believe in heaven, and I believe that if I did something, that I would go to hell.
You could talk from now to the end of time, and unless somebody has been through it, they can't understand it. If you haven't experienced this, you cannot tell someone who has how to get back from a place that they've never been. And it's unexplainable. There are no words in this language that can make people understand.
It comes down from my father, may he rest in peace. My father was very strict with me and my brother, my sister also for that matter. We never discussed, when I was growing up, we never discussed death or illness. A lot of things I guess I should have done. Maybe there's some things that he may bring out from above that hasn't reached me yet. I am happy about it too. Very, very meaningful to me.
And I'm going to give you a kiss. That's not where I wanted to kiss you.
Where do you want
Well, Vicky, we had some pretty good stories right there. I mean, the footage that you got was incredible, and the last gentleman was talking about how do you get back. I mean, that kind of sums it all up.
Jerry Dillingham lost a 16-year-old to an accidental overdose. She went to sleep. She forgot to breathe, essentially. He said the comment, or made the comment, parents, people in general, don't understand how deep this pain is, because if they haven't been there, how does a person get back from a place they've never been?
Yeah.
And his point was just that. It's so difficult to show another parent or a parent who hasn't lost a child, how severe this pain actually is.
And I think it's great that you can relate to them. I'm sorry that you went through everything that you did, but I think it's remarkable what you've done to go out and find these people, and you can relate to them better than anybody else can. And your funeral director, that's, you know, he's been going through this with other families. He's never been able to really relate until he actually went through it himself.
You're absolutely right, TJ. It just blew my mind. I had no idea. That's Jim Brewer with a funeral home here in Nashville. And he said he saw so many children buried, and it never really hit like it did until he too lost a 19-year-old on his way home, had taken friends home during bad weather and traveled a road he'd always traveled, and unfortunately he didn't make it home. And Mr. Brewer went to the funeral home and had a feeling that something was wrong.
We covered that last week about these senses that people have, and they're so connected with your family, and you can just wake up and you feel like something's wrong. And I think we've all been there. You know, you check your phone to make sure everything's in. You don't want to call in the middle of the night.
Correct.
But that's just amazing to me, the connection that's between two people. And you spoke of the lady that she had been through some things and with her own drug problems.
Yes.
And then her son had passed the first time he had ever tried heroin, and she actually kept him away from that. And then there he was. He died from something that she had lived with for years and years.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, she told me she placed him in a family member's home to keep him from her own addiction. And just a week or so before they were supposed to see one another, and it had been 10 years plus. You know, I guess it took her a while to get through her addiction. They planned to see one another. He decided to stay and see some other friends, and she never got to see him again.
You just never know.
You
never
don't.
know. And then we were talking about religion and different beliefs, and you have somebody there that's dealt with that. And of course, I guess suicide is something that we think about, that we can't go on without this person. But with her beliefs, she did not think she was going to go to heaven if she killed herself. So she's here on earth living through the grief with her family member gone.
Absolutely.
There's just so many different things that people going through, so many emotions. And we're planning on covering that every week. We're going to bring more videos in and all these stories, and hopefully it's going to help people relate.
Yes, Sarah is a remarkable human being to go on in this life when you have lost your only child. And that was her world. Her daughter, you know, not that everyone succeeds in life to the degree that her child, Megan, did, but Megan was 16 years old and had accomplished so much. And just driving home, she hit a tree. There wasn't anything involved. And Sarah has had such a difficult time, you know, staying here. And what is her reason and why is she here? But we don't have the answers to that. It's been a struggle for her. And definitely there is a difference in having children, other children. You almost have to go on. You really don't have a choice.
You don't. But I just think it's great that you're doing this. I think this is a great venue for you to share. I know your end result is you want to have this as a full documentary and have it in film festivals and
That's
how to
right.
reach people. And I'm hoping that this is just something that we do on a weekly basis and it brings people in. And I just appreciate so much you sharing, and I appreciate your friendship. We've been friends for years, and
We have.
we always knew we'd work together, and now we know why. So it's really good.
Thank you, TJ.
Well, thank you for tuning in again today for Untimely. I'm here with Vicky Jacobs, and she's a good friend and a really good person, and she's going to share a story every single week. So hopefully you'll tune in and gain something from it.
Thank you, TJ.
Thank you.
Bandwidth for today's show is brought to you by SoftLayer.com. We love SoftLayer here at Talkopolis. They are the greatest hosting company ever. They make everything easy. Check out their website at SoftLayer.com. Thanks again for sponsoring the show.